Welcome to Let's Play Rule the Waves 3 as Germany starting in 1935. It's 1939, we've just scored another great victory over the Germans, and so I'm calling this On Towards Victory. I mean, how much of a hint does the Soviet Union need to have to realize it's lost the war? We've defeated them in the Baltic states. We've defeated them at sea. We have a brand new ally who admittedly hasn't done very much, but it still stacks the forces higher against them. So let's have a look and see if the Soviet Union can take a hint. Start off with just a little bit of admin. So our brand new Z-56 Destroyer Squadron, Destroyer Division 5, which is the screen for the Graf Zeppelin, have finished working up, so I'm moving them to the Baltic. In addition, I'm going to move the Stuttgart, which is a very light cruiser, which we have in Northern Europe, but the Soviet Union has lost all of its cruisers in Northern Europe, so I'm going to move that to the Baltic just to leave one light cruiser, the Danzig, and a few old destroyers in Northern Europe, just in case, and obviously keeping the Rune in the Northern Europe and move it to the Baltic when it's finished working up. We have the Gneisenauer repairing after it's hit. The Graf Spee was also hit in the previous battle, but doesn't seem to need any dockyard work, which is great. We have 3,600 in a monthly balance. Thank you very much. So I think we all know what that means. New carrier design time. And if we could fit in another light cruiser of the New Berlin class, the München needs resurrecting as a destroyer which did excellent service and was sadly sunk in an earlier battle. However, let's go to design ship and let's bring up everyone's favorite, the aircraft carrier. And let's go with the suggestions first of all. We start off with a bit of a beast, a 40,000-ton carrier with 73 aircraft, a 4-inch deck armor, and a 1-inch hangar. Unfortunately, we can only build 39,200, so we need to bring this down by 1,000 tons. So let's do that, that's fine. And then wonder how on earth we might recover this minus 443 tons of weight. Okay, well that's a bit odd because I went off and I looked at other yards. I thought Spain, just for a laugh, minus 800 tons. So no joy there. Japan, okay, 57 tons remaining. Italy, also 57 tons remaining. And then just going back to our own local yards, this has somehow become 500 tons remaining. Obviously some sort of bug, but I might just take that. Now, one area of interest is that we have a 4-inch flight deck armor, but we also have a 2-inch deck armor. That's going to be taking up quite a lot. So the impact of, say, going to 1.5 is quite good. We also have 5-inch guns, giving us 47 heavy anti-aircraft. If we brought that down to 4-inch, that would take us to 42, which is not bad, and give us 1,000, which is lovely, which could push up the number of aircraft to, let's see how we can get, okay, to 80. However, I noticed that we are at Torpedo Defense 3, and I'd much prefer it to be Torpedo Defense 4, so that means getting rid of some of these planes. Okay, let's take it to that and see if we can go back to the 5-inch guns. I mean, whilst that's not great, okay, 74. I mean, the difference of 6 aircraft, obviously they'd be lovely to have, but, you know, to have more anti-air is, you know, a good trade-off. Let's just check that's all legal. That's all legal. Yeah. Still don't understand why it was underweight and now is fine for weight. Okay, I'm going to save this as a design concept. So I'm going to save it, but not go ahead and progress that design so that we can have a look at a different one. and just have a little comparison. Okay, so I don't like that. Let's try another automatic design. Okay, so we can certainly build this. 95 aircraft, only 1-inch flight deck. So that's a different kind of thing. If I was American, I'd say, yeah, that's absolutely fine. But for a carrier that's going to be in range of Baltic and North Sea air bases, yes, they've done absolutely nothing so far, but that doesn't mean that against Britain or France, who will have air bases which are much closer, that would be a thing. So I'm going to say no to this one. Okay. And similar. And similar. So I could go up to 100 aircraft. Actually, this is a little bit too heavy. Okay, I'm going to say no to those. We're going to bring up the Peter. He was head of the Zeppelin force in World War One, and say, yeah, okay, I'm good with this. So click OK and get that one designed. Now that's going to cost us 4,000 a month, so that's going to blow our budget slightly. So sadly, no room for a second Berlin class light cruiser just yet, but hopefully coming soon. And then let's push on into the summer. Okay, let's intercept a raider. Oh, that's actually going to happen. Wait, let's move myself up there. Okay, so surely this is all perfectly straightforward. I mean, who could possibly defeat a lovely heavy cruiser like the Prince Eugen with 6 hours and 10 minutes to play for? I'm not even going to bother with my battle checklist. Let's set it to ultra fast and move on. Ooh, well, yes, actually. Let's do that. And boom. There they are. So crank it up to maximum speed. Now it says it's a heavy cruiser. Discuss. Where are we, by the way? Okay, well, so we're near the island of Bornholm in the southern Baltic. So being a bit cheeky. Let's just move that in. I'm just advancing. Oh, well, it says it's a merchant ship, but then it said it was a heavy cruiser. It's not a merchant ship, it's going far too fast. Unless it probably is an armed merchant cruiser. Well, we just appear to be enjoying shooting at it and indeed hitting it. Let's just go to the Prince Eugen. So we already have a nearly 2.5% hit rate. Basic chance at 14,000 yards, 2.2. Yeah, pluses and minuses equaling out. Fine. And for the rate of fire is 1 from a basic of 1.5. Just deliberately firing. We're not claiming to be straddling. Readying the mechanical issues. What a surprise. Well, actually, it's still saying that it's a merchant ship. Let's open up our rear guns. There they go. I'm going to put the lock on. It's that kind of battle. It's such a useful device. And we've hit them with 8-inch guns again. Still can't believe it's really a merchant ship, because surely after, well, this is 4, I think, 8-inch hits already, it would be dead in the water. Okay, heavy damage. Let's turn a bit. Somewhat unnecessary aircraft report there, although interesting to see it is actually relatively accurate. Still stubbornly not sinking. Boom. That really was it. I should have pressed auto memo to self. Let's not do that again. Well, let's see how many hits did it really receive and all of that. So the armed merchant cruiser Bryansk, tiddly widdly little thing with 4-inch guns and nothing else. Hit 9 times. I mean, that's a lot, actually, of medium hits in order to sink it, when you think about it. Log entry. Yeah, taking out their turrets to begin with. All sorts of superstructure nonsense. Okay. And, well, actually, and go back. I just wanted to get the hit chance for Prince Eugen. So 2.5%, just over. So not, not really impressive. When I did my gunnery thing and I said 2% was a sort of average chance, I was probably over generous. A marginal victory, but every victory is precious. We've commissioned 3 new submarines. Hurrah! So we're now starting to produce the smaller coastal submarines, which hopefully should increase our submarine force for whatever they're able to do in the Baltic. Aha! So the enemy has sounded us out about negotiated peace, with us gaining disputed border areas and some of their colonies. Not that I think Russia has too much to give away. These seem a good basis. Let's see if total war is still total war. Wow. Bang. I had, I didn't know that this was going to happen, but I had a feeling surely the Soviet Union had nowhere to go. And with the failure of Britain or France to come to the Soviet Union's aid, despite the raised tensions, yeah, they've concluded their peace. Let's see what the spoils of war are. Absolutely nothing. 4. I mean, considering all that we went through, that's a pretty poor score. I mean, in terms of a profitable war, we're still only at prestige 23 because they refused and refused and refused again to have any battles. They've given us only 4, which is, a small boost to our economy, but certainly not in any way worth. And obviously, we're going to have a little bit of reflection on how we're going to afford our lovely fleet and what we can do about it. So I'm going to say, okay, small decrease to the economy. And from 551, 550, do I want to continue? No. We just casually dropped down 200,000. Actually, impressively, our monthly balance is only minus 6,600. So, that's not as bad as I feared it was going to be. A new tech. Let's say no to air units. Improved model of our 1112 medium bomber. Oh yeah, that's nice. Slight increases in range and in speed. So yeah, okay, happy with that. And our new dive bomber enters service. I mean, obviously, it was the sinking of Bryansk that tipped the balance in the Politburo or something like that. Let's see. The main, so pile of scrapping, obviously, of all of their little tiddly-widdly corvettes, and of course, the same for me. Also some scrappings in other countries too. Let's go there. Let's just have a little look at aircraft types. Our new medium bomber, our new torpedo bomber, our dive bomber that's just entered service. So we can take this one to make it obsolete. Our fighter, so we can take the old one and make that obsolete as well. And that's pretty much everything. The naval patrol aircraft is a bit old, and the float plane is a bit old. I'm going to see if I can upgrade the float plane to get a light range beyond 200 would be great. So let's have that one. Float plane and range and range. And mine's still blown that you can have double priorities on the same thing. Thanks, guys. So that's got that one sorted. And then I'm just going to have a little admin catch up and report back to you what I've done. Before that, let's have a quick look at the size of the fleet. So, no battleships. Most other countries have a few, aside from Britain. A lot of those are quite old. 3 battle cruisers with a 4th building, compared to Britain with 5, America with 3, America only with 5 battleships. Let's just have a look at the American ships. So yeah, they all are reportedly slow and old, so that's probably true. And if we have a look at Britain, most of their battleships are slow. They've got a couple of modern ones, and then a whole waft of battlecruisers building. So Britain really probably has 5, 6, 7 fast ships. Just to put that in context. So if that's the maximum, they've got 7, we've got 3 and 1, so we've got 4. Which is that seems fine. We've got 1 carrier. Obviously, that needs to be the priority. We are probably fine for heavy cruisers. Light cruisers need building up. We are probably not fine for our destroyers, despite having 5 and 7 building. I probably need to downgrade really old destroyers and make them into corvettes. We have only 8 corvettes, and I imagine they are mainly, let's have a look, minesweepers. So yeah, they're the minesweepers. Probably, ideally, would like some more of those. And then finally, we have 20 submarines in service and another 25 building. Well, we could cut off 5 and have a 40 submarine force. That would seem fine. That seems like a nice peacetime strength to base off. And 480 aeroplanes, which, you know, is relatively competitive, aside from the USA, but I mean, they're so far away, nobody minds. So, yeah, let's go and trim some of this. Okay, I've trimmed the active air force to squadrons of 4 aeroplanes, and I've redistributed them from the Baltic to Greece and the North Sea. Number 1, I've kept the air groups of the Graf Zeppelin at full strength. I've decided to build some air bases in Norway because I have none, so that's going to cost a little bit. Shame about that. I've trimmed the number of submarines by 5. I'm keeping so far all of my ships under construction. I'm looking at the Leopard class here and going to open them for rebuild, with the aim of turning them into what they really are. So currently they've got an ASW of 4. I want to increase that as corvettes. So clear their torpedoes. That gives them some working space. Not sure about the mines, but we may have that. I don't think I can have 4 and increase the storage. I think I can only have 2, but I'm sure it will tell me. It's probably well over guns, so I'm going to bring that down to 3-inch guns. Let's see how that is. It wants to change to a corvette, change to a corvette. So yeah, 4 depth charges needs 900 tons, but aside from that, I think it's all fine. It's not ideal because obviously, let me just try that. Yeah, so it doesn't have oil fuel. Nah, I'm not going to change the engines. No fire control. Might have a look at that, might not. Short range ships, yeah, can't be helped. Short range escorts, what else do you want? But it's taken the ASW from 4 to 6, and fundamentally that's what I want. They're not using their torpedoes, they're not using their 4-inch guns. I could just try taking it back up to 4-inch guns and getting rid of these wings. So let's delete that and delete that and see. Yeah, it's happy with that. And If I gave it a fire control position, does that really change very much? Changes the cost actually quite a lot, from 17 a month to 93. Given there's quite a lot of them, and they shouldn't really be using their guns anyhow. A couple of light anti-air, because they are trade protection and air attacks on convoys don't really seem to be a thing. There we go. So that's pretty cost. Rebuild cost 50. I mean, 50 for proper corvettes, increasing by half as much again their ASW value. Yes, please. Let's do all of that. So a short 3-month cost to do all of them. Yep, 17 new frigates. Excellent. We also have these guys. Let me have a little look what to do with them. So open for redesign, take away the wing turrets, delete and delete. Go over here, clear the torpedo tubes, increase the ASW from 5 up to 8. Attempting to include the minesweeping gear so that there's still an ASW of 4, but I'll say no to that. We could add mines. Yeah, let's add some mines. Ships with mines will continue to operational mining, increasing the risk to enemy ships being mined in the area of the ships. Yeah, okay. Total rebuild, 85, 29, 28 a month. So let's take them out, reclassify them. Yep, that's all fine. And add that to the list. So short, painful little increase in the monthly balance, but well worth stabilizing the corvette force by those conversions. And now when we go to the almanac and it says that we have 24 destroyers, it means it. I mean, yes, some of these old 1,000 tonners are a bit long in the tooth, but they'll do for now. Thank you very much. I'm just going to push the turn on 1 month. Rebellion in Southwest Africa. Commissioned 3 submarines. Bit of technical trouble. Early air search radar. Yep, fancy that. New Soviet medium bomber. Your time has passed. So yeah, no particular interesting intelligence. And then I'm going to move the fleet over to Northern Europe, and that should get most of them arriving. And then see who I'm going to put in reserve and who I'm not. An African country has left some of our nationals stranded. What do we do? Send a strong, well, prestige. I mean, we're only at 24, so I mean, who could possibly be annoyed by a mercy mission? No particular news. Well, Britain, ever so slightly. Fair enough. Okay, I've put my corvettes and my sub 2,000-ton destroyers into reserve. I've put, well, the Königsberg is out in Greece. I've put my other old light cruisers into reserve. Always heartbreaking when they are elite crews and they're going to, diminish. I have also put the Lutzow, the Prinz Eugen, and the Gneisenauer into reserve, and I've sent the Blücher to be refitted in the same way as the Gneisenauer, and then once that's done in 3 months' time, I will see about refitting the Lutzows and see if there's anything very much that can be done with them. So we're down to minus 2,000, and let's just do one more turn to establish our little peace dividend. So we've finished our air bases in Norway. I'm going to say no to giving them air units at this moment. more submarines. 19 corvettes finished their reconstruction. British have crushed a rebellion. So yeah, everything else. We can take and the piece thrusters are ready for building. So yay! Let's go and do that. Boom. Quite a bit there, but hopefully in Eternal 2, some of this will be a little bit less, and then otherwise we're going to have to jig things around a bit. I noticed we still got high with the Soviet Union. I'm going to take that down to medium. We have low with France and nothing on everybody else. Tensions with Britain are 5. If they go higher with Britain, I'll start spying on them. Actually, I'll take France off. They don't seem to be of any particular annoyance. And let me just see if there is anybody else. So I can put the new Scharnhorst into reserve as well as the Rune. Or should I keep the Scharnhorst? I'm gonna sadly, I'm gonna have to put them all in. So if I go on the active fleet, I've got 3 battle cruisers, the aircraft carrier, 3 light cruisers, and 5 destroyers. Oh, these corvettes should all be in reserve, but that won't make a great deal of difference. Let's go back to displacement. So 4,000 tons. Could put some of these into mothballs, some of these light cruisers. That would take their maintenance from 45 and what have you to half of that, but it's not really going to make a huge amount of difference. Let's do the older ones. We'll keep the Hamburg. Let's take it into mothballs from 5,200 to 5,000. Okay, bit of a difference, not quite as much. And really, that's a bit of peace dividend. So that seems enough shilly-shallying around with settling down to peace. Minus 5,000 is a bit of a large amount, but hopefully in a month or 2 that will settle down and we can get into the peacetime groove, munch our way through pretty quickly the next couple of years and prepare ourselves for the future war to come. Join me in our next episode. Bye for now.